Like when white people are mad.
This whole, hashtag buy the dip that trends on Twitter a lot recently, it's not necessarily something that's new. And really what that means when we're talking about buying the dip, it's really a strategy where investors are scooping up shares that have basically dropped in price. And that's a method that has seen some signs of fraying recently, but that has come as that kind of behavior among especially retail investors in the midst of this market boom during the pandemic has really helped propel stocks higher for mines, following obviously last year's sharp sell-off. Yeah. And when it comes to sort of this debate, there's this sort of lump sum investing argument. If say you have this big windfall of money, whether or not you put that big chunk of money in the market all at once, or say if you go through and you dribble in a little at a time, which owners of 401k plans, for instance, are already using that type of dollar cost averaging approach where you're putting in money at set intervals. And it turned out investing all of your money right away historically leads to better returns over time versus that sort of slow and steady approach.
All right, so
this whole, hashtag buy the dip that trends on Twitter.
All right, one, I may be projecting. Two, naming the race thing is ridiculous. It has nothing to do about race, but it may help you fucking understand. When they talk about hashtag and retail investors, in a lot of ways, that's just slang for black and or just newer people in the market. So let me get into this real quick. For whatever fucking reason, all my life, and I'm literally saying since the moment I was old enough to be able to buy stocks, for some reason people have been telling me that they believe that I should invest in the market for my own financial gains. I don't know why. I've never been able to fucking really understand it. So much so that literally even the doctor. So I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure last year. The doctor that I went to see. Hold on a second, there's a fucking big-ass truck. The fucking doctor I went to see, as he's diagnosing me with heart failure, what he says to me is that I should become a fucking trader. Literally, I'm in the fucking hospital for heart failure. My doctor says, you know what you should do? You should get into the fucking market. So that's how fucking deep this shit is for me. So anyway, obviously I've been thinking about getting into the fucking market. The problem that I'm having even currently right now is exactly what I was fucking thinking, which is two things to take away from that fucking story. One, this dip is not a dip. This dip is being created more by a lot of people that entered in the market, whether it be with their fucking stimulus checks or whatever fucking reason. That's what's creating this. It's basically a situation in which the market is dealing with the fact that it is mostly traded by algorithm, and then now there's a shitload of people that entered in the market, and you're making decisions that would not mean, they just don't make sense as far as the stock market is concerned. So, that's just kind of my little update really on what's going on. For me, there's more that I wanted to think about or talk about, but now I don't even really want to think about the market for a minute because it's exactly what I was thinking. The whole reason I even listened to that fucking the news this morning, or that particular news story, was because I wanted to start thinking about the fucking market again, and it told me exactly what I was thinking, which is the market is now flooded. Which, let me tell you, I'm really happy about, because I've been saying this thing lately about, black people just want to keep each other down. This is one of those situations where black people do not at all, or not keeping each other down. If anything, is actually the opposite. That's why you see them actually reporting about hashtag this and that. Because in this particular case, there's a belief of a common enemy. And so, in other words, with investing in the market, what has actually happened is what doesn't normally happen, which is black people have actually helped each other make money because they believe it to be, or they perceive it to be, in a sense of they're all taking money away from one particular person or one particular group of people. Either that, or it's just because of the way investing is. Either way, it's not I can't say it's not expected, because I mean there are historical reasons and signs of this or whatever, but that is what's happening. As far as I can tell, that's what's happening right now. I don't know what you could do with this information, but it is fucking information, and I needed to get it out because it fucking pissed me off. And also, it's an example of how to listen to news and understand what they're saying. the two aspects of that particular news story where they're talking about buying the dip historically is good, but they're kind of telling you not to do it in a sense, because right now what's happening is that it's not being done. The dip that's happening is not happening for what are normally historical reasons for it to happen, rather than a bunch of people have kind of entered the market in a way that is not known to have happened in the market previously, and especially not at a time when the majority of the market is actually being traded by algorithm. So there's that. Yeah, if you understood that, you understood that. If you didn't, whatever. One of the whole points of this is you may not listen to me in a certain sense. I'm not sure how that's going to be better or worse, but I'd rather get it out there, because one of the issues, at least for me, somebody who kind of looks at the market in a very long term, what's the best interest for people? It's very difficult right now, because between this fucking algorithm and then people making these fucking weird decisions, they're not really what you would do if you were smart. They would only be what you would do if you were just trying to make short money, and not necessarily look into the long-term money. It's a certain amount of planned obsolescence that happens with an algorithm that doesn't happen as much in normal life, because of the fact that we try to preserve life. And it's also one of those kind of situations as well where algorithms can be dangerous, because at the end of the day, no matter even if you program them to preserve life, they're not really able to. It's just not, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, that's that.